The Milwaukee Bucks will face the Indiana Pacers today in game one of the first round. Indiana has home court advantage for the series. And I believe this is like the first time in a very long time the Bucks will not have home court in the first round, at least during the Giannis era. It's like they've been getting home court, I think home court advantage since like I'm trying to remember. I think since like 2019. So it's like the first time in like 7 years they won't have home court. That's what makes it interesting. It's just been a very long time since the Bucks haven't been an elite team. This was the first time I would say in a very long time that the Bucks were not an elite team this year. They were a decent team, but definitely not an elite team. And I think this series is going to be very entertaining. When you look at these teams statistically, it's very close. Indiana is seventh in the league in scoring, while the Bucks are 11th. Defensively, the Bucks are 13th in points allowed, and Indiana is 17th in points allowed. So they're both like middle of the pack defensive teams, while they're both top 10 offensive scoring teams essentially. Granted, the Bucks are 11th, but you get what I'm saying. It's that close. But I think the biggest thing in this series is you're gonna see how much the Bucks miss Damian Lillard during the regular season. The Bucks were 3-1 against the Indiana Pacers, and I looked it up. But in all three of those games in which the Bucks won, Damian Lillard had played. And even though he didn't have great games in all three of those games, just his presence alone, it does something to the defense in the sense that his center of gravity allows more opportunities for guys to get open shots, easy buckets. Then you pair him up with Giannis, and it makes it very hard for the defense to defend both of those guys. But now he's gone. I think it's going to be a lot easier for the Pacers to match up with the Bucks. That they won't be able to stop Giannis. Giannis has always dominated the Pacers in his individual matchups. I think prior to this season, he had a game where he scored 60 some points against them. Granted, I think it was in a loss, but he's always dominated them. He's always had choice words for them. He does not like them, which is what gets me excited because he does have disdain for them. And they don't like him either. It's like it's on both sides. They have a disdain for each other, which is the way it should be, at least for the playoffs, just to have that type of competition. But it's not just about Giannis dominating. He has to have other guys help him. And the Bucks now, they don't have a legit number two guy with the Damian Lillard being gone. You look at the guys who could possibly step up in his place. It's going to have to be by committee. It's going to have to be Kyle Kuzma. And Kuzma is more like a third option type of guy. You have Bobby Portis, who's capable of going off in some games, but he's not consistently a guy who can give you 20 every night. He can get hot and give you a 20-point game. You have a guy like Gary Trent who's also streaky, but there's no consistent number two guy. I think that's going to be the hardest thing in the series. While you look at the Pacers, they are loaded when it comes to depth. You have a guy like Siakam who gives you 20 consistently. You have Tyrese Haliburton. He gets close to 20 points a game, and he can go off whenever. He can get 30-point games. And then after those guys, you have several guys averaging double digits per game. That the Pacers, I think they have like 7 guys averaging 10 or more points a game. So they're a very deep team. And I just think it's going to be hard for Milwaukee to counter just their depth. And just not having a legit number two guy on the Bucks, I think that's going to do them in this series. I really do. I think it's going to be hard to overcome that. While the Pacers, they don't have to worry about stopping Giannis. They can just focus on stopping the rest of those guys on the Bucks because they're inconsistent. They're going to be able to check those guys while Giannis just gets his. That's why I look at it, and it's interesting how the Pacers. They have good bigs. They have Siakam. They got Miles Turner. I think those guys, they won't win the matchup against Giannis, but I think they'll do just enough to counter his dominance that it'll be enough to put the Pacers on the top, and the Pacers just easily win the perimeter. When you look at Tyrese Haliburton and these other guys they have like Mathurin, Nembhard, Nesmith. So I definitely have the Pacers winning this series in 6 games. I think they'll do in 6 because I think Giannis is so great. He's going to win at least 2 games in the series with just like his sheer dominance. But I think ultimately the Pacers will prevail in 6 games. So, yeah, that's what I have.